Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla TV, where you can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Dainese Ice EVO Gore-Tex jacket, available at RevZilla.com. The more basic of the Gore-Tex options from Dainese. This is the Ice EVO, replacing its predecessor, the Ice Sheet. And moving into 2014, they've made a few key changes, and they've dropped the price that, in my opinion, make this a better option at around that $500 mark. So you're going to notice here, high-vis Brian to my left, wearing the black gray version. 4 colors available. There's a high-vis, there's a red. You have a lot of options. And really, it's positioned as what I would consider a 3-season cold weather jacket. So fall, winter, spring, you have the non-removable Gore-Tex waterproof breathable liner, but it is a floating liner. It's not going to be direct ventilation, and that's why I give it a 3-season cold rating versus a 4-season, because even with this brand new large improved vent here on both sides, you can see I have it uncovered on the left and covered on the right. It's still venting to the liner, so you get that evaporative cooling effect. So again, waterproof breathable Gore-Tex liner, guaranteed for life, the highest degree of breathability, but there's also a full sleeve removable thermal liner as well that's going to be beefy enough to take you deep into the wintertime riding months. I love this jacket. Clean style, hip length, think sport touring. I love it on the Ducati Multistrada crowd. Now, the other key changes I quickly spoke about, they've updated the collar. I think it's a much better design. It no longer has the loop back system. It's now a basic Velcro collar that's big enough to cinch down, but again, they've gotten rid of extraneous straps. And when I turn Brian backwards, you're gonna see there's accordion stretch panels now at the shoulder blade that give it a much more high degree of flexibility depending on how you ride, how aggressively, how spirited your sport touring or multi-season touring goes. Now let's talk briefly about fit, and then I'll walk back through the nuances. So Brian to my left, 6 foot 195, 42-inch chest. He's wearing a size 52 in Dainese. No surprises here. It's going to be more their touring cut versus their aggressive race cut. But again, with all of the liners in, he has plenty of room to move. And keep in mind too, we do ship for free if you're not sure about the sizing. And I'd love to hear your gut reaction to the new Ice EVO at RevZilla.com. Click and subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm constantly doing Dainese videos. I'd love to hear your gut react, your feedback, and your questions. And high-vis Brian actually is always lurking too to be able to answer your questions. Now, back to the jacket itself, some of the other nuances and changes. On the previous version, we saw Cordura Comfort, which is a great fabric with a little bit of stretch to it. They've actually moved to quick dry fabric as well as Duratex in your impact areas to make it a little bit more lightweight and to ensure it doesn't take any water on at longer distance rain-infused rides. They found that the Cordura Comfort would pick up water at times, so they've moved away from that fabric. You're still going to get proprietary Dainese CE-rated armor in the shoulder as well as the elbow and the forearms. And again, moving into the basic guts here, notice adjustment along the waist. You have your basic cargo pockets. But again, the big story here is making these vents that much larger. They do snap back. You're going to see I'm going to open the right side now. There's 2 snaps there that without poking Brian, I'm not going to be able to cinch down. But again, boomerang fabric behind that vents directly to that liner. And again, while it is an indirect liner, it's going to give you great air circulation throughout the jacket. Also, as you work your way down around the belly of this jacket, a couple creature comforts here that are really nice. The cargo pockets on the outside are going to be fully waterproof with their own zipper garage. And you'll also notice at the bottom, the buttons go from being metallic at the top to now rubberized, so they're never going to bite or scratch your tank. Again, well thought out from Dainese. Now keep in mind, within the Dainese line, if you want something more technical with exposed armor, a little bit more of an aggressive stance, go up to something like the Carve Master. And from there, you're up into some of the really hardcore adventure touring pieces of gear that go up north of that $600–700 range. But there's also a similar product called the Marsh D-Dry, which is D-Dry. It's waterproof, but it doesn't breathe quite as well as Gore-Tex, and it's not guaranteed for life. But again, you can get away with that Marsh D-Dry, which is a similar setup, slightly different jacket, but again, more of that multi-season touring and sub-$500 price point. You know, some of the other nuances you're going to see reflectivity baked in. You see that nice comfort collar here. That is a high collar. Notice the zipper garage from the back. Big beefy pull for the zip, but notice the backing of the collar is going to be nice and soft. If I ask Brian to turn and face away from me, Dainese Demon logo coming down the side, reflectivity. Again, you're going to see that Duratex come into play around the elbow and the forearm. And there's my big new accordion stretch panel, done in that kind of castle rock color. Again, Brian, give me a little bit of arms in the riding position. See how that moves with you. The original Ice Sheet did not have that. That's actually one of my favorite upgrades on the back. And what they've also done, thank you, Brian, is they've also simplified your waist cinch down here towards the bottom. It used to be a very vertical, almost corset-style cinching. They've gone to a simplified waist cinch here on the guy's version of the Ice EVO to be able to just kind of of rein this guy in and not worry about it. Turn backwards for me. It's not going to ship with any back protection. You go with the Manus or something like the Shield Air. Keep that in mind, and you'd put that back insert in the second zipper here along the top. But notice here at the bottom there is that rabbit pouch, which is going to take your quilted liner. It is a smaller quilted liner, or it's a larger quilted liner in a smaller pouch, so you're going to have to stuff it in there pretty tightly. Keep that in mind, guys. But again, they're keeping in line with much more of that sport touring, multi-season touring look than that adventure baggy touring look. Again, it all kind of pulls in nicely. And I do love that they use that offset blued Dainese stitch logo with the demon eyes done in reflective. That's always a very cool touch from Dainese. They keep it aggressive. And you'll notice too on the back here, this is more of your quick dry fabric again, and you can see how it works into that high collar. You know, Brian, you're rocking your 1980s baseball player in the back there, haircut, and you can kind of see that that nice high collar with that nice roll at the top. That is going to be that wicking material, almost that comfort liner that wraps around. It's not going to chafe you. Come back to the round. And I didn't mean to call you Lenny Dykstra. I'm sorry. So open it up here, show the guts. Notice the flat back with that kind of rain gutter system that's going to keep the water away from the zipper, Napoleon pocket, and here's your quilted interior liner. Notice, there's my zip along the side. Here's my full sleeve thermal liner. It's premium. It has that nice soft feel on the inside with pockets. And you unzip that and you're going to expose the back side of your Gore-Tex liner on the inside here. 360-degree zip. You can see Brian is wearing that size 52. You do have cinching on the bottom. But again, this liner is going to be what allows your sweat to evaporate out through the jacket. That's what you're really investing in here around that $500 mark. It's that Gore-Tex liner. Remember, Gore-Tex invented the waterproof breathable membrane. And when you start to sweat versus keeping that sweat in, it allows it to evaporate out, and as you're actively riding, that's what keeps you the most comfortable over time versus have that sweat stay in. And again, especially when it's cold, you can get that clammy feeling or that really highly condensed feeling on the inside that you think about if you're wearing a trash bag or a really crappy rain liner. Now, the next step in your journey is to click right here, read other rider reviews of the Dainese Ice Evo at RevZilla.com. Remember, you don't have to take my word for it. As always, we'll ship for free. And if you want to give a Gear Geek a shout, give our boy High Viz Brian a shout or leave him a comment on the YouTube channel. Like I said, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.